I'm Paula Thomas.
And I'm John Dyer V.
With NewsWrap, a summary of some of the news in or affecting LGBTQ communities around the world for the week ending March 6, 2021. Queer suppression is going hand in hand with voter suppression efforts in Republican-led U.S. state legislatures. While the alarming attacks on democracy get national media attention, transgender young people are specifically targeted in many new anti-LGBTQ bills, and there are dozens of them. At least 35 bills that ban transgender students from participating in extracurricular sports have been tallied by The Hill. They count 25 other bills that would deny gender-affirming medical care to trans teens. In some bills, doctors who perform such medical care can be criminally prosecuted. So can parents who approve it. Idaho passed a bill banning trans students from competing in sports in 2020. A federal judge has blocked the bill from being enforced while a legal challenge proceeds. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki reaffirmed President Biden's executive order banning anti-LGBTQ bias in the workplace and most other areas of life this week. She pointedly said that any bills passed at the state level to discriminate against LGBTQ people are flatly illegal.
Republican-controlled state legislatures in Mississippi and South Dakota have already sent anti-queer bills to their governors. Mississippi's law would prevent transgender girls from competing in school sports, and Republican Governor Tate Reeves is expected to sign it soon. South Dakota's law is a so-called religious liberty measure that would open the door to anti-LGBTQ discrimination. Pro-Trump Republican Governor Kristi Noem is expected to sign that one. However, a bill passed in the South Dakota House to ban trans girls from competing against cis girls in school sports was killed in a state Senate committee. Alabama's Senate passed a bill this week that would deny gender-affirming medical care to any transgender person in the state under the age of 19. That would include hormone treatments or puberty blockers, as well as gender-affirming surgery. Trans activist Marie Willa posted an emotional video warning on TikTok urging parents of trans kids to get your children to safety in another state. She said that the bill's passage would drive the suicide rate up just astronomically high.
The Tennessee Senate passed a ban on trans youth competing in middle and high school sports this week. It's not clear when the measure will be considered by the state House. Republican Governor Bill Lee seems likely to sign the bill if it reaches his desk, since he said that transgenders participating in women's sports will destroy women's sports. Similar measures to ban trans athletes have already passed one legislative chamber in North and South Dakota, Montana, and Utah. Another anti-trans and sports measure was introduced this week in the Wisconsin House. The Montana Senate also advanced a bill that would allow faith-based discrimination against LGBTQ people.
The largest Protestant evangelical adoption and fostering agency in the U.S. announced this week that all of its offices will now welcome same-gender couples. Bethany Christian Services CEO and President Chris Pulaski advised more than 1,500 staff members in an email that we will now offer services with the love and compassion of Jesus to the many types of families who exist in our world today. We're taking an all-hands-on-deck approach where all are welcome. Bethany's board unanimously approved the policy change in January. Based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the Christian Services Agency operates in 32 U.S. states and more than a dozen other countries. It's been on an evolving journey to welcoming queer couples as prospective foster or adoptive parents over the past few years. Bethany has allowed local offices in the U.S. to accept LGBTQ applicants where there are local or state anti-discrimination laws. When Philadelphia's Catholic Social Services Adoption Agency brought a high-profile religious liberty suit, Bethany yielded to the law. Bethany's Nathan Bolt told the New York Times that it became really untenable to have this patchwork of practices. Bethany was ready, and Christians are ready. Christians of mutual good faith can reasonably disagree on various doctrinal issues.
A court in China's eastern Jiangsu province has rejected a student's challenge to the use of a textbook describing homosexuality as a psychological disorder. A district court in the city of Suqian decided that the description is just a matter of perceptual differences and not a factual error. according to a copy of the ruling seen by the Reuters reporters. The February 9th ruling upheld an earlier September 2020 decision. Under the pseudonym Shishi, the plaintiff complained that they didn't even have a trial, they just handed down the judgment. The 24-year-old NGO worker said that she only learned about the ruling through her lawyer on February 22nd. Shishi sued Jiannan University Press in 2017 over its continued use of the 2013 Mental Health Education for College Students textbook. She said that it classifies homosexuality as a psychological disorder, which it isn't. Same-gender sex was decriminalized in China in 1997. The Chinese Psychiatric Association removed its description of homosexuality as a mental disorder in 2001. Ah Chiang works with the Guangzhou-based NGO PFLAG, a peer support group for parents and friends of LGBTQ people. He told the South China Morning Post that the editor of the textbook apparently used viewpoints that do not match society's perception of sexual minorities today. Chiang compared the book's characterization of homosexuality to the belief that the sun revolves around the earth.
In an unusual multicolored ray of light out of Poland this week, 3 women have been acquitted of offending religious feelings for posters adding a rainbow halo to the Virgin Mary. Had they been convicted, they would have been sent to prison for up to 2 years. The offense occurred in April 2019. The women put up posters and stickers of the rainbow-haloed Virgin Mary around the city of Plask to protest what one of them called the exclusion of LGBT people from society. They used the image from Our Lady of Częstochowa, a painting revered by many Polish Roman Catholics. Local news reports quoted the judge as saying that the activists' activities were provocative but aimed at drawing attention to the homophobic and harmful decor in the church in Plask. Their actions were aimed at protecting people who were discriminated against. He also cited several letters from Roman Catholics who said they were not offended by the rainbow halo image. The heavily Roman Catholic country has been roiled by repeated anti-queer rants by narrowly re-elected President Andrzej Duda, and legislation in dozens of municipalities declaring that they are LGBT-free zones. At least 6 of those towns have lost their sister city funding from European Union member states.
The government of Ghana has come under increasing fire around the world for forcing the offices of an LGBTQ rights group in Accra to close. An open letter penned by Brits of Ghanaian heritage condemning the action have been signed by actors Idris Elba and Naomi Campbell, British Vogue editor-in-chief Edward Enninful, architect Sir David Adjaye, and former Labour Party Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott. UK Black Pride co-founder Phyllis, Lady Phil, Akua Apaku Jahima, called it un-African. Black Lives Matter UK issued a supportive statement that we stand with all oppressed queer and transgender people across Africa and the world. Ghanaian government officials reacted defiantly by vowing to further curb LGBTQ activities and groups. Private consensual adult same-gender sex is prosecuted as unnatural carnal knowledge, and there are no laws protecting LGBTQ people from discrimination in the West African nation. President Nana Akufo-Addo insists that queer couples will never get legal recognition as long as he heads the government.
Finally, security police in the Mexican beach resort of Tulum in the state of Quintana Roo tried to arrest a gay male couple this week for kissing. The cops were no doubt shocked at the unexpected reaction of other beachgoers. A video getting lots of views on Facebook shows heavily armed men handcuffing the 2 Speedo-clad men and forcing them onto an open-roof ATV. A large crowd gathers around the vehicle, and their attitude toward the arrests is quite evident in this audio excerpt.
I'm gay.
A police spokesman said that they were responding to a citizen complaint and denied that homophobia motivated the arrests. He claimed that the men were detained for immoral acts in a public place. Members of the crowd shared their own stories of the incident online, and all said they witnessed kissing, nothing more. They were not committing any crime, wrote one fellow beachgoer. The increasingly angry crowd would not relent, and the 2 men were freed from their handcuffs and kissed any charges goodbye.
That's NewsWrap, Global Queer News with Attitude, for the week ending March 6, 2021. Follow the news in your area and around the world. An informed community is a strong community.
NewsWrap is recording remotely during the COVID-19 emergency. It's written by Greg Gordon, edited by Alicia Chappell, produced by Brian DeShazer, and brought to you by you.
Help keep us in ears around the world at thiswayout.org, where you can also read the text of this newscast and much more.
And you can listen to NewsWrap each week by subscribing to our This Way Out radio channel on YouTube. For This Way Out, I'm John Dyer V. Stay healthy.
And I'm Paula Thomas. Stay safe.